Hello, one and all. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are going to be talking about the Aries new moon astrology. The Aries new moon is on March 21st, 2023 at 12:23 p.m., and that's a lot of twos. And if you're into numerology, that's a whole lot of stability. And I kind of find it a little bit funny because this day, the days around it, I don't want to say they're going to be unstable, but they're going to be dynamic, shifting, changing, moving. And two doesn't usually represent that. But maybe the numerology will give some stability where there is going to be call for a lot of change. So with that, I'm going to go into the notables here. And remember, as I go through everything, because I go touch through different ways of looking at the chart, aspects, phases of the moon's names, things like that, that this is just overall and broad. This is not how it's going to technically affect you on a more minute scale or microcosm. It's the macrocosm overall energy, and also it's the energy the days around, because it's not like a day happens and then that's it. Just think about what happens in a day and how that kind of, like say something that happens in your workday with a coworker, that then, that one incident then affects the rest of your work career there, or your relationship with that person, or other relationships with other people. So astrology is like that. One incident or one day can have a long or a short effect on a situation. And again, like I said, this is broad, and your chart is unique to you and where planets are, where the signs are distributed. So if you'd like a reading, check out my website at eurekastrategy.healing.com, and you can book up an appointment. We do birth chart readings as well as the year ahead, synastry charts, and I also do herbal consultations and tarot readings. With that, let's get to the notables first. And there's so many that it could just be the video alone. And so I will try and keep it as simple as possible and maybe make another video for one of the points that I'll be pointing out here in a minute. The first, though, is happy spring equinox. The spring equinox happened yesterday on the 20th at 4:24 Central Standard Time. And so this new moon, if you do new moon manifestations, is a great time to think about where do you want balance, right? Equal light, equal dark. And the equinoxes happen on during the placement, if you think about it as in the house system of the first and the seventh house, Aries and Libra, the self or I, the individual, and the other. And look at where it's saying is like, where can you find balance between what you need and what others need, and how you interact with that. So great time to work with that energy if you're looking for finding balance. And also just welcome back to the more light here in the Northern Hemisphere. We have all gone through a interesting winter, to say the least. The next notable, Aries, has 4 planets and 2 asteroids in it. So I say Aries party, right? Anytime there's a lot of things going on, I consider it a party, because it's like all the planets are getting together. Maybe they're not all getting along, or maybe they don't all like being at the party, but they're there at the party. And the sun definitely likes being at this party for sure. It shines, it's powerful, it's strength. But, so let's think about key terms here, right? I don't want to say self-care. What do you need? Thinking about that, what the self needs are first and foremost. And it can be a very physical thing, like I need food, I need water, and knowing and not knowing what kind of things that you actually need. Sometimes warrior energy, where do you stand up for yourself? Like, hey, I gotta make sure that I survive and get through this world. And just like excitement and starting new things. It's a young sign, so to speak. And of course, like if the moon, say, it was an Aries moon that was like a full moon, or further on down the line, that's a different story. That's a more mature Aries energy, but we are at the start. So this is like the baby that's just been born. And we'll talk about the name of the moon, which is aptly named the infant moon. It's brand new, and it's at 0 degrees. So on this day is a notable, it's just like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of new beginnings, new energy, but also maybe some infantile behavior, which we can, talk a little bit more about, which is like, babies don't know when they may be causing a problem. I should not say cause a problem, but like they're crying all the time, or they demand they want something, and it's not personal, but like at the same time, say the mother or father or whomever is doing 10 different things, and the child technically has all their needs taken care of, and they're like, I want this now. And it's just like, hey, like, wait a second, it is not all about you. So that energy could be at play where the people are a little demanding more than they need to be, but at the same time, this moon is saying, hey, stand up for what you need. So trying to find a balance, right, with that equinox of energy there. And the big thing that I'm not going to weave I will some into this chart, but it's got to be said. And so if you're interested, I'll try to make another video. And I know other astrologers are going to be making other videos about this, and watch them all, because this is the changing of the guards. March is intense. And by intense, I mean there's a lot of dynamic energy shifts, and I'm not looking at even any aspects or things like that right now. I'm looking at planets moving from one sign to the next. Now, this is a little bit of education, but take it or leave it. So some planets move very quickly and move out of a sign, less than a month. The sun is exactly a month. Sometimes it's like a month and a half, 2 months, and that would be the personal planets. So, the sun, moves quickly, right? The moon very, very quickly, just days. And then we've got Mercury and Venus and Mars, and those are all very quick, and it varies. But so I'm going to go through the list of planets that are going to change, and you're going to find out that some of them are quick moving planets, which is not always a shock, and some of them are really slow moving planets. And to me, that's speaking of like fast change, but also like deep changes and energy shifts. So I'll just say the planets and the dates just to kind of give you like, maybe ideas. And some of them are going to be before this moon, and some are going to be after, but it's really like astounding how many are changing. So March 8th, Saturn is moving into Pisces. I believe I mentioned this last time. That's it. It's not going back into Aquarius. It's going to be there for 2.5 years. Big energy shift in where we're being responsible and putting our focus on restructuring things. The 16th, Venus is moving to Taurus. It's going to be happy there for sure. And it's going to bring it down about a lot of different energies, especially moving from Aries. Those are two very strong different energies. Then on the 18th, Mercury moves into Aries. Then on the 20th, the sun, so the new moon, moves into Aries. The 23rd, now Pluto moves into Aquarius, and this is huge. 2008 was when it first moved into Capricorn. It's been there pretty much since 2008. There's a little back and forth thing, but that's a long time. Do you remember what happened in 2008? The economy almost collapsed. The housing, situation got really ugly. It was really intense, scary times. That was the start of that session of Pluto moving into a sign. A lot has happened since then. And so Pluto is going to move in for the first time on the 23rd. And like I said, that's a huge thing to think about, because it's 200 some years that it takes to get to the sign, the sign, to do the full circle. And then Mars on the 25th is moving into Cancer. Now, normally that's a fast moving planet, but it had gone retrograde, meaning it stopped and went back. And, so it's been in Gemini since the end of August. That's a long time. Usually it's like 2 months. It's spent well over 2 months there. And what's so unique is like, Mars is like all about getting things done. It's going to be finally like, oh, I can move forward. Now it's going to be in Cancer, and that's not exactly its happy place, but at least the energy's changing. I feel like at that point, Mars will be like, okay, I'm just glad that I could, move on and move forward, right? And like I said, I'll do a deeper video, but just think about how much, that's a large portion of the planet's changing signs. And so they each have something that represents something, and you're going to be feeling it. And it's going to be different in your chart because it's going to be in different places, but we're all going to be taking note of what's happening with everybody around us. I am for certain in this month. And I just had to say it because it's so important. That being said, well into the video, we'll talk about the moon and the aspects, but I mean, we've really been weaving it in. So it's, as I said, the infant's moon. And I kind of, as I was looking at the chart and thinking about it, I mean, most people know he has seen an infant or maybe taken care of an infant. It's like they have their needs, and their needs need to get met. And I kind of meditated on this a little bit. And so the information I got was saying to me, retaining innocence and excitement from all that's happened. That's the first part. And so think of everything that's happened. Just, I mean, honestly, especially since 2020, but in the last 3 years, a lot has happened. There's been a lot of shifts, changes, intensities, and as this, moon goes into Aries, it's like looking back from Pisces, like, okay, like, what could I let go of? What can I accept? If you do this a couple of days before this moon, like just accepting and maybe cherishing and releasing the things you don't want to cherish, right? Just kind of being able to like maintain the innocence through all that's happened, because I think a lot of people have had bad experiences, and being able to hold on to the good parts and let that fuel you into this newness and keep innocence and excitement beyond all the hard things is really important. And that's what this moon brings. It's like, hey, let's get excited. I know maybe some of that sucked, but some of it was good. Let's go forward with the good, or whatever is sparked my imagination, because I want to grow something, right? Aries is the sprout. But at the same time, as we are wanting to move forward into this innocence, like looking back, moving forward, like saying, forget some of that stuff, we need to make sure that we can still maintain a sense of self-preservation and cultivating that in a positive way. Pardon me, getting through situations in a healthy way, because there may be parts that were lost going through this, like pieces of power or things that had to be let go of. And so how do you find that balance of self-preservation? Because that is very Aries. And also this moon, if you do tarot or even are familiar with the Fool card, I mean, I think everyone's familiar with the term, is that it represents that, because it is just like, I'm going to step forward and into it without thinking. Or I don't want to say Aries can't think. It just, the instinct is so strong. It is guttural. It's like, do this. And it's, for some people, you have to just go with your instinct, because it is your instinct and is dead on, right? Like if you second guess your instinct and your that natural feeling in your gut every time, you're not going to do something. And also, like, there's going to be a lot of self-doubt, and that is the dark side of Aries, where all of a sudden it's like, oh no, that's not right. That doesn't feel, it feels right, but I shouldn't do it because. And so there's this balance of trying to figure out when to just go with the instinct, and then we go like, wait, hey, like maybe I shouldn't jump off literally like that ledge. That's a little dangerous. I don't have the right equipment to make sure I live. So self-preservation, being innocent, yet not letting yourself, like I said, fall off the ledge and die. Other key points to this moon, I kind of thought is good to kind of focus on the points. Learning self-control and honor. It's a young moon, and it's a young warrior moon. It's still a warrior, but it's a baby. It doesn't even know yet about war, and so it hasn't been tainted by all the hardships of war, but also it doesn't have any discipline yet. It hasn't got out and just did the practice on the field over and over and over again like it needs to where it has the mastery. And the honor is just, again, like not kind of jumping into things without thinking about it, meaning like popping off before you maybe realize the whole situation, like, getting into it with somebody and then like, oh, I didn't know that fact or detail. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that. So that is an energy of the day for sure, where there could be a lot of people standing up for themselves. Yay. But also some people, popping off. I don't want to say boo, but like, hopefully people like simmer down. But really, truly, one of the aspects, Mars is not making a particularly pleasant aspect to this moon. And so I do feel like a lot of people are going to be pretty mouthy. And so like the next point that I have here, like a little key point here, is being straightforward, which is totally good. But having Mars making a square to this energy in Gemini, it's just like people are going to be blunter than blunt, maybe to a point of uncomfortable with some people, because some people like to have things like the wording nicely packaged, right? Like softer words and tones, and like a conversation versus someone saying done, right? That's what it's probably going to feel like. They're like, okay, these are the points, I'm done, we're not talking about this anymore, out. So be cautious on that. Others, but also yourself. It can, right? This is a mirror. It can be anywhere. So the other thing too, just because it's a baby, and we talked about it, try not to be too demanding, and also be on the lookout for, demanding people, because again, it's, I don't want to say don't take it personally, but on this day, people are just going to be like, I want this now, because it's that primitive need, that instinctual baby need. Like not that they're being a baby, but like a baby cries for food because it's hungry. It's not just crying because, or it needs its diaper changed or burped, right? It's a demand, but sometimes this energy, especially this day, there's just so much Aries energy to be like, whoa, like check your demands a little bit, please. Is it a need, right? Like that's a true core need, or is it a demand just because? And so like to wrap this part up, I thought of like, what has ended for you? Because this energy is so new and so fresh, and what is being called into this existence this month, these days, it is newness, right? It's it's on, right? Like we've been kind of waiting, I feel like, and there have been some changes and things have been going retrograde and planets have just been hanging out in certain signs for a long time, some longer and short. And it's like, whoa, like this is a real deep energy shift, and we can harness that, or at least go with the flow sometimes. I mean, Aries is not always about going with the flow. It's going to be the starter. So like this may be like, where are you going to start something where it's like, actually, I've been going with the flow for a while, or I've been stuck with the same old pattern routine. It's like, nope, it is time to change. And like I said, I'll say it probably 4 more times in this video. If you feel the call, it's going to be time for the change, because you're going to feel it in your gut. So where is it time to change? And the lyric or the phrase that I have today is actually from a song. The band is called Faithless. The song is called We Come One. And the line is, the power to begin again right now in you. And I love the whole song. It's so beautiful. And Maxi Jazz he's the singer, the poet. It's just beautiful. But I get the shivers every time I say it, because it's that true Aries power where it's like, hey, you can start again, right? It's the seed. It is, even if something's over, you can start again. You can be reborn. And it's not, I mean, it's not Scorpio, that kind of phoenix, but it's just like, you have that power in you, and you have the excitement in you. You have the spark in you. It's not, a tired old energy, or an energy of like you've been, jaded. It's like, no, that's over. So you can do it at any time, at any point in your life. And that is a powerful thing. That empowers you, empowers me to know that things change, that I can help contribute to the change, that I'm not a victim, right? Another Aries theme. Don't be the victim here. Be the change you want to have in your life. Don't wait for others. You can wait for the rest of your life. You have the power and control of yourself. Now, things that fall away or come towards you in this situation is going to be, unique to you. And there is some risk involved, but sometimes you need to take the risk. And I mean, I've said so many things, and I'm going to try and wrap it up here. And I would just want to say, take a moment, be present. This is a dynamic shift. Enjoy it, and just be open and be ready to take that first step forward. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. May the plants ground you and the stars guide you. Ciao for now.